Hey, so this is a video showing you how to make illustrated text in Adobe Photoshop. It's a very vital video. First thing you want to do, you gotta set the page size to the right dimensions. You gotta set it to 12 inches by 18 inches, and then set the resolution to 300. Really, any color, it doesn't matter. And then to get your size right, you go to View, and then you go to Show and Grid. And then, so you got to make a perfect rectangle. So you see here, I did it a couple of times to get it right.
Just a couple.
And then, so now that you have it, you're gonna make it a different color, so that you now have a working space and a border. If you make mistakes. So now that we've got that, you go back to View and turn off the grid so we can start working. So now to make it look more like a authentic illustrated text, you take I got this picture off Google Images. It's like a old piece of parchment. Gonna scale it perfectly in this other rectangle here. You can see dragging it down to make it fit, and that looks pretty good. So now that we've got this here, you're gonna want to get the first half of it. It's about Thomas. Not sure what it's about, but we're gonna get some of it. So we're selecting some text here, just the perfect amount of text. You got to think about something that will fit your page and look good. So we're gonna take the text, make a new text layer here, paste it in. You can see here, you got the text. Now you can make it whatever color. We're going to make it black, and whatever font you want. Make sure that it's centered correctly. Since the first letter of the poem was a T, we're going to look for a fancy letter T on Google Images. And let's just look for a good one here. There are a lot of good options, but this one is obviously the top quality. So we're going to pick it and come back to our original image, paste it in. That was exactly the size of the T, put it in there. And now it's essential that we trace this so we can get it on our illustrated script thing. So it's really important that you get all aspects of the calligraphy letter, because that's what makes it special and good looking to the viewer. I'm going to make it red here because red's a cool color. You got to make sure everything is perfectly calibrated. So we're getting all the little details. The circle dot thing inside the T is accounted for. And now that we've done it on this side, we can just copy it over, since it's pretty much symmetrical. Not exactly, but we'll fix that later. This is about the right size. We're just scaling it perfectly here, as you can see. Now we got to take care of this thing in the middle where there's a gap, and that's fixed. You see the black line down the middle. That's another thing that you have to trace. That's pretty easy to take care of. You just draw a line, and you can zoom out. You can see it looks pretty good. Take the background away just to evaluate it. And now we got to do the bottom of this, trace it real quick. And you can see we're going around here. Be sure not to, we're going to go back and fix that thing later. It's not that important. We're making a new layer because it's good to have the details. So we're tracing this little white thing in the middle of the black stuff. And we're going to make it's on its own layer, so it's going to stand out when we merge it together later. So if you really want it to look good, you're gonna want to maybe make a background that could really be a good feature. You can see here we got a red background to complement the red tracing inside the T, and that looks amazing. Now we're going to make it black because that looks better. We can see here experimenting with colors, making it green and red, and we're going to settle on red because it's a pretty nice looking color. Paste it in your original document, make it whatever size you want, and now all you have to do is position it and move the other text around because you can see it's kind of blocking the text that the poem has. Yep, we're going to outline the poem text here. Next step, you can see here it's kind of sped up, but we are making the text just perfect so it will look good on the final product. Now we're back to a screen of the original letter that we got off of Google, and oh, now it's time to trace the little leaves that are on the side because that is essential in a project like this. It's very difficult, but thanks to Photoshop's magnetic lasso tool, it's very easy. So you can see that we just cut out a portion. It's still got the black stuff on the inside. We're going to have to cut that out. That's what we're doing now. Cut that out, and you just have to do it separately. It may take a little bit of time. It's kind of aggravating, but after 5 minutes, you should be able to do this step. Or less. 5 minutes or less. 5 minutes or less is really how long it should take you to do this part. So you can see here we're tracing the vines. We're tracing the vines. We're going to make them green here. When you have them selected, like this, you can just take the brush tool and make it huge, like 600 font, and then just go crazy with it. You can see here we made it all green, and going to make a background by copying the layer and just dragging it behind it, slightly off center. And that looks pretty good. So now we have three-dimensional looking vines to put behind the T. So you put it on the original document, and now all you have to do is resize it and put it behind the T so it looks like it's growing out of it, which is essential. So we're going to copy this instance and reverse it over the other side, so we can have two vines instead of one. So you can see here resizing the vine. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it looks very similar to the other one on the other side, we're good.